guys, welcome to another episode of the Planeswalkers Pub. I'm your host, Eric.
Howdy, it's RJ.
Oh, right, Eric's not here. So
He's using his vacation time. He's got a couple hours.
today we're actually going to be talking about the legends from Throne of Eldraine. But before that, make sure to hit the actual subscribe button and notification bell so you stay up to date on all of our newest episodes.
Let's talk about our signature card. Today's signature card is Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After costs 2 and a white. It's an enchantment that says, when Happily Ever After enters the battlefield, each player gains 5 life and draws a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control, there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control and or cards in your graveyard, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, you win the game.
So, I mean, this is a lot.
So first thing is, you can only use it in a Wooburg, in a all-color deck.
Well, here's the thing. In theory, you would have to only be able to use this in a Wooburg deck, but there are some ways of getting, like, 5-color creatures or something. Well, what's that green sorcery or whatever that gives you an actual...
Plainwide Celebration. Plainwide Celebration costs 5 and 2 green. Choose 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. So if you're running a Selesnya deck, you create a 2/2 citizen creature token that's all colors. 4 or 5 color creatures. All you need is 1 more permanent. You have to already have had a Planeswalker. This is probably later in the game. You have to be playing life gain so you can keep your life total high enough.
Yeah, or be able to get a crap total all at once anyway.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. I mean, the fact that it gives everyone 5 life and draws a card can be a downside.
Does it have to be greater than or greater than equal to?
Greater than or equal to.
Oh,
So
yeah. You flash her in, you do a
40.
Ketris thing. The Mercy thing.
Oh, Catcher's Mercy thing, which actually puts you back to your starting life total.
Yeah, put you back to your starting. So
you flash that in, you flash into the celebration. You would need a Planeswalker either on the battlefield or in your graveyard in order to get all 6 because it's 6 card types, which means, let's run it through it. Lands, creatures, artifacts, enchantments, planeswalker, instant sorcery, and 6 or more. So technically there are 7 card types. So you only need 6.
Let me take a peek at that.
Which means that officially then you don't need your planeswalker. Yeah. So then land.
Card types. It doesn't. Well, actually, permanents you control and or cards in your graveyard. So yeah. You don't need a planeswalker.
Yeah. So you can you've got your lands obviously. Yeah. This is your enchantment. You just need an instant and sorcery in your graveyard, which people have. Soul Rings on the field, that's 5 right there. And then creature.
Any creature. The
5-color creature, yeah.
The citizens count.
So this is actually doable.
Yeah, in Commander it's very doable. I mean,
there's a few hoops, but it's totally doable.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our actual main topic, which is going to be about the legends inside of Throne of Eldraine. We mentioned beforehand last week just a few cards that we thought were really, really cool. This was actually before they released everything, but we mentioned the stuff that we actually saw.
Yeah, we wanted to leave legends for another episode just because we want to go a bit more in depth with the legends than we did with just cards we like.
Plus, we're Commander players, so legends mean more to us than they do to Standard and Legacy and everything else.
Because it means actually way more to us. It means less for Standard players because you can only have one of these on the field.
So let's actually talk about the one that started it all for the most part, as well as just the the hardest one to get. He's going to be an actual buy box promo. So you can only actually get this if you physically buy a box of Throne of Eldraine. Is going to be
Kenrith, the Returned King. He is a legendary creature, human noble. He costs 4 and a white. It's a 5/5. Pay 1 red. All creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn. Pay 1 and a green. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Pay 2 and a white. Target player gains 5 life. Pay 3 and a blue. Target player draws a card. Play 4 and a black. Put target creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under its owner's control.
Yeah, so this is a lot.
That's a lot. That's a mouthful.
So for starters...
Group Hug.
Yeah.
Wooburg, I've been wanting a good Wooburg Group Hug commander, and there he is.
Yeah, because a lot of people are thinking like, okay, well, how can we break this? How can we make him like Group Slug or something? The cool thing about him is the fact that he has all 5 abilities, and it's not just all 5 abilities, but each color of Magic wants to do one particular thing really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
He basically says, what is that thing want to do? I can do that, which is great. Mm-hmm. It's so great. With white, it wants to gain life, just a stupid amount of life for reasons. He can just make target player, hey, you're low on life. Here you go. And, blue is just known for card draw. Green is just known for just big creatures. Plus multiple counters.
Plus multiple counters, a green creatures. Thing. Black is the most insane one, and I'm glad they made it cost 5, because, that's just, take something from the graveyard, put it in play. That's ridiculous. But he's made for Group Hug. He's flavorfully Group Hug.
One thing about Reanimator is the fact that typically, and obviously Reanimate is on screen right now, But typically, when you bring something back, you put it back on your side of the battlefield. This is under its owner's control. So you're basically just grabbing something from a graveyard and saying, hey, that really sucks that blew up. That guy's a jerk, isn't he? Here you go. You can have it back. Oh, by the way, it's still your... Oh, by the way, that's true. You don't have to tap him, which means you can do this as many times as you want.
Oh, yeah.
Even better,
just at this deck, I'm going to build him.
you got 6 mana on board.
It's going to be infinite... Just as many infinite mana combos in those colors, whatever ones I can get, and I'll just activate all those abilities just for shits and giggles.
You got 6 mana on board. You can just pay 5, bring back that giant dragon that dude had or whatever that got blown up because of reason.
Give it haste
and then give it haste and trample.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so building Kenrith.
I mean, we talked about in the previous episode of building actual group hug and everything and access or whatever, and then I was going to help you. We're doing this.
We're building this. We're going to put money into this deck. It's going to be a great deck. He's so flavorful, too. He's like the jovial king who rules the land, the benevolent, beloved king.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, and he is per commander ruling 5 colors. So Propaganda's going in this, Ghostly Prison's going in this, Sheer Safety's going in this, Howling Mine, Temple Bell,
oh yeah.
Oh god, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be nutty.
We can have literally every extra card draw card in the game. We can have every
because it's in blue.
Extra land play card in the game.
There is Card Simple Sundering, which bounces a permanent and then says target player takes extra turn. You can just target someone else.
Yeah. Have an extra turn, man. If you win, I win.
Like it's it. Just like, hey man, here you go. Like, just cool. Like most take an extra turn spells don't say you. Just says always. Most of the time it says target player. People just assume it's you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Aaron take an extra turn.
Yeah, right.
After my turn. No, you're gonna take an extra turn after my turn, and then someone else is gonna have a turn, and then you're gonna have your turn.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Just because.
Just because.
Moving on, I guess, to the next legendary creature, which you actually can open up in a pack. Linden, the Steadfast Queen, is white. She's a legendary creature noble. She's a 3/3. She has Vigilance, and whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain a life.
That's not bad. That's it's just Path to Bravery. It's without the +1/+1 boost, but it's Path to Bravery.
Which is great. So,
hey, in this deck, run tokens, run
Ajani's Pride Mate, Ajani's Welcome. It doesn't take... It's not that hard to find a, hey, how do I win with life gain effects?
Felidar Guardian.
Aetherflux Reservoir.
Yeah.
You get her. You need to put Aetherflux Reservoir in your deck, or you're not playing the deck correctly.
Sir Alan, the Lion's Claw. He costs 3 and 2 white. He has first strike. When Sir Alan, the Lion's Claw, attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
He's a 4/4. Yeah, he's not bad.
4/4
he's an
first
uncommon.
strike.
Yeah, 4/4 first strike.
It's very, very good. Plus, he has that Anthem effect. I wish it was counters, but I know why they didn't. But that's the thing. I know why they
that
didn't.
That would be broken. That would be absolutely broken.
I know why they didn't, but I wish it was. I also wish the fact it said just creatures you control. This way it pumps him too. But I mean, he's a.
So then you put up to 5/5 with first strike.
Yeah, for 5. That makes sense.
For 5, that's not bad.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. But I mean, it's fine. Do we think he can pilot his own deck without completely breaking down and crying?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think you can do a deck around him. You could, no.
Yeah, I don't think so either, just because that's a cool effect, but that's it.
Yeah.
Gadwick the Wizened cost X and 3 blue. Legendary creature, human wizard. When Gadwick the Wizened enters the battlefield, draw X card. When you cast a blue spell, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls.
He's a 3/3.
Well, here's a cool thing, because X, I was thinking like, oh, if like, you're paying commander tax on top of it, X at that point would equal like 2, but that doesn't work out that way.
It doesn't, no. Because what it would have said is you would draw
cards equal to the amount of mana they spent on them.
But this is cool. I mean, I don't know how great it'll be in Commander. I know in Standard he's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Because he's just a newer version of Hydroid Krasis.
Yeah.
I would run this in a Niv Mizzet card draw deck.
Yeah.
I dump 30 mana into this. I draw 30 cards. Everyone's dead.
Something like that. Yeah, where it's one big flashy play.
Plus his second ability really isn't that powerful. Whenever you cast a blue spell, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Now don't get me wrong, tapping permanents is really good. You have to cast spells. You can't just dump mana into them.
Yeah. Or tapping some other stuff. Like, tap one of your things, tap one of his, tap one of theirs. You're right, you have to cast spells.
He's in blue. There's Leviathans, but what big scary creatures are you going to be playing that make tapping down creatures worth it?
The next one is Embry, Lurker of the Lock. She is 2 in the blue for a legendary creature. More for a wizard, she's a 1/2. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. And then
also will count towards commander tax, which makes this crazy.
And then when she enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. That's not great.
Gotta love self-mill. No, it's good. Read the next part.
And then tap her, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. So this is dope and dangerous.
Put this in a deck with a lot of blinking, self-mill yourself a ton, and then just cast crazy stuff from your graveyard.
Here's the thing. If it said, you can cast it for less equal to the number of cards you can give it, that'd be great. This is just like...
It's hand extension.
Well, yeah, but the problem is the fact that I don't need... You run Dredge. There's too many other better Dredge cards than having to constantly blink this one chip.
Well, I get
That's a
that.
1/2, by the way.
I know.
With no other abilities.
She lets you play artifacts from your graveyard. Except that if, people prevent you from casting stuff from your graveyard.
Because you're running a self-mill deck, yes!
Yeah. No, I know. This isn't great.
This isn't
I like it. It's definitely going into Sahili, because I can get those artifacts back.
Sahili, she's definitely going into. Alayla, she's definitely going into, because, same principle. You can get those artifacts back. But also, you're in mono blue if she's the commander. Real talk, what other Dredge cards are in mono blue?
You don't even need Dredge, just mill cards.
So then you're
targeting
there is a
yourself
blue
with mill effects. Why not?
Persistent Petitioners yourself?
¿Por qué no los dos? You target yourself. You persistent... Yeah, dude, persistent petitioner, artifact, you just...
So it's like artifact combo?
Yeah, pretty much. This is going to be a combo card.
I don't know. I'm not feeling there.
Sir Eleonora the Discerning. Costs 3 and 2 blue. Legendary creature, human knight. Sir Eleonora the Discerning's power is equal to the number of cards in your hand. When Sir Eleonora enters the battlefield, draw a card. Spells your opponent's cast that targets Sir Eleonora cost 2 more to cast. Again, this is going in Niv Mizzet, but it's just a win con. It's like, hey, I just hit you with a big thing.
Just 5 mana, though.
It would have been better if her power and toughness went with it.
I feel like it would have been better if, when she enters the battlefield for 5 mana, I drew, 3 cards.
Yeah, draw 3 cards, get this creature.
Because she cares about the number of cards in your hand.
And have her enter as, a 3/4, then.
Something. If you're top decking this, I don't want to be spending 5 mana and drawing a single card and having her a 1/4. That's literally the worst thing in the world. Straight out, just get, Mind Rot at turn 0. That's just the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. Again, these are a little dull. This is interesting. This is something you don't see that often in blue, getting a huge power creature.
Yeah, but the problem is, this huge power creature usually feeds itself. Hydro Crisis, we just mentioned that. Mm-hmm. When he shows up, he rewards you for pumping in all of your mana, for tapping out completely, because you draw half the amount of mana you tossed into him. You're drawing up that number. Versus her, it's cool, 5 mana. I care about the hand size of my user. Here's a single card. What?
Yeah, I guess.
In a perfect world, her constant power will be a 6 or a 7, which is nice. I like the fact she has pseudo shroud or pseudo hexproof, because whenever someone needs a pather, you need to actually pay additional 2. But she goes in a deck, not really running it.
Yeah, definitely not running a deck. Ayara, Burst of Lochthwain, costs 3 black. Legendary creature, Elf Noble. It's a 2/3. When Ayara, First of Lochthwain, or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1. Tap it, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card.
This effect is awesome. It's like a reverse Blood Artist? Because Blood Artist is whenever something dies, she's whenever something shows up.
Yeah.
Right? This is actually really dope. She's great. I love her now.
She's pretty good, yeah.
Next is Sir Conrad the Grim. He is 3 black for a legendary creature, human knight. He's a 5/4. When another creature dies, or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Conrad deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 in a black. Each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. So, he's a mill person, which is kind of cool.
But that huge chunk of text is a little hard to chew. What it's saying is, whenever a creature dies, or card goes from...
Creature is put into the graveyard from anywhere, so...
From anywhere other than the battlefield, that means whenever a creature dies, that's fine. Or if it goes from library to graveyard. The battlefield to the graveyard. You got me there, yeah. If they discard a creature card, that counts.
Yeah, this is dumb.
I don't know.
This is going to hurt a lot.
Put it into any Dimir mill deck, he's pretty good.
Not even that. He actually can run his own deck.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because you're just running Mind Rot and Hand Attack, as well as just board wipes for days.
I get that, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Also, too, it's just whenever another creature dies, so it counts dive triggers as well. It also says each opponent, so you don't have to target to anyone. It gives around the Hexproof ley lines, as well as the fact of just your opponent's just like, okay, we're not going to attack you, we're going to fight each other. Your creatures are dying. He's still witnessing your creatures die.
No one's going to not fight you for having this out.
Oh, no, they're going to kill you, but
Yes.
it's one of those things where it's like, you just run just a bunch of Death Touchers, just run all the Death Touchers, all the Mind Rot effects, don't bother with the ley line, because that is legitimately against what your deck wants to do.
Painter's Servant Grindstone. So you mill someone for their entire library, and then each other person takes damage equal to the number of creatures in that person's library.
This is probably our first, outside of Kenrith, this is probably actually our first card that we would classify as, yes, run as the commander.
Oh yeah, definitely. He could make a good commander. Rankle, Master of Pranks. Cost 2 and 2 black. Legendary creature, Fairy Rogue. It has flying and haste. When Rankle, Master of Pranks, deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature. It's a 3/3.
So, a few things. Number 1, it says choose any number, which means you can choose them once each for starters, and then the resolution is upon showing up on the card. So
I can't choose 34 and do all of them 34 times?
Now, so 1 hit equals 1 activation, which means you can technically choose each of them once. So if you say, okay, well, everyone's going to sack a creature and then draw a card, what typically happens first is each person loses 1 life, draws a card, and then each person sacks a creature. It's upon order of showing up on the actual card itself, which is very, very important to note. Number 2, one of our actual friends at our card shop actually built this deck. Even though the card isn't technically out yet, he put the deck together, is running as commander. The deck's a pain to fight against. It just really is. For starters, giving him haste, that's a lot. Giving him flying is even worse.
I mean, here's the thing. Anything that gives him double strike, you get double activation.
Yes, because at that point it becomes like a Jite situation.
Yeah, he's good.
Yes,
he's very good.
It's a pain to deal with because he comes out like turn 4 or most of the time earlier, and then he flies instantly. And it's like whatever decision is the best option for you, you're going to choose it, and everyone has to deal with it. It's not fun. One thing, it's Emo, how's it going? He actually has the curses that, like when you attack a player, you get a zombie. So he'll attack the player who has a zombie, he'll get himself a zombie, and then we'll just choose sack a creature. So you just can never have a creature on board.
Oh.
Yeah, you cannot play Voltron against this deck. You just can't.
Torbrand, Thane of Redfell. Costs 1 and 3 red. Legendary creature, Dwarf Noble. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead.
So this is the mono red commander that everyone's been waiting for.
It's broken as hell.
For people that are like, oh, well, how is it broken as hell? That makes no freaking sense. You're just doing additional 2 damage. It's 2 damage additionally to every single spell in your deck.
Yeah.
Mono red has one main way of winning. It's not combo, it's not drawing at your opponents, it's not doing grunts with big creatures. It's
burn, baby, burn.
It's throwing, it's spell slinging. The faster you throw spells, the faster people's life totals go down to 0.
And the reprinting fling.
And the reprinting fling.
People are just talking about in standard with the Cavalcade, the one where whenever a creature power 1 or less attacks, it deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker.
Yeah.
You're dealing 6 damage for every 1/1 that attacks. The red 1/1 would deal 3 damage, and then Cavalcade would
deal an additional 3 damage.
3 damage.
So,
6 damage per 1/1 attack.
And by the way, people, the reason why we're freaking out about this is because this is a passive. It's not like he has to activate it. It's not like he has to tap or anything else. This is just a, hey, I'm standing here. This is happening. Mono red is kind of the easier thing to build because you just kind of get a bunch of...
Not really. I mean, that's the thing, is it's hard to win.
That's the thing. It's hard to win, but it's easy to build.
I guess.
That's how that works. You just gotta get you got a really crappy draw spells, but outside of that, it's just like, a bunch of burn, trying to get them down to 40 very, very quickly. With him, it makes things so much easier. Like, think about the smaller abilities too. Like, something like Shock. It's 1 red mana, deals 2 damage to any target. This Shock, for 1 mana, deals 4 damage.
You're forgetting any ability on any creature that says tap this, it deals 1 damage to any target.
Yeah.
Now it does 3 damage to any target when you tap it.
Well, let's bring up Chandra on screen real quick. She says tap, deal 1 damage to target player. That one deals 3 damage, which means...
And you immediately flip her.
And then you immediately flip her! She flips over, her +1 deals 2 damage, now deals 4 damage to someone's face.
Yeah.
Like, this Plus, let's put up Jyra from War of the Spark. Her passive state's effective. If red source would deal damage to a permanent or a player, it deals an additional
damage +1.
+1. With this, it'll do additional 3.
Each 1/1 deals
4 damage.
Let's talk about Tybalt from War of the Spark. You minus him, you get 2 little 1/1, or you get a 1/1.
When they die, they deal
That deals
damage.
1 damage, which now deals 4 damage off of a single 1/1 dying. We only start at 40 life. Think about this: there's a small. This is a possibility.
If I hit you with 10 1/1s and Thorbrand's on the field, you lose.
just die.
You lose.
You just die. And whenever you take damage, you take double that damage.
Furnace of Wrath. There's a couple effects like that, but Furnace of Wrath is the big one.
Yeah, you run a Furnace of Wrath in this. That's math. That's just math. Like, it's like, oh, cool. Like, like you play a new guy. Yeah. Oh, cool. How'd it go? Math happened. You can officially tell your friends, I beat him with math.
You just see all the numbers and you're just like, okay, just shuffle up. Go to another one.
It's like, cool, so I cast Furnace of Wrath. Your opponent just looks at you just like, that's scary, don't have a counterspell for that. I cast a Shock, so game 2. Like,
Yes, the game.
Because think about it, because first doubles the damage, so a single shock, once again, red mana, now you're dealing 8 damage with 1.
With a shock!
Oh.
Alright, I'm done with this guy. Let's go to the next one.
Next up is Sarkara the Bold. 3 red for a human knight, 3/3. When Sarkara the Bold, or an instant or sorcery you control deals damage to an opponent, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And then you can tap her, deal 1 damage to any target. I'm not a fan of this. My thing is this. And obviously red, they're like, okay, well, we need card draw, yada, yada, yada. The problem is that you can only cast it during this turn. So, I know in a theory in everyone's head, they're like, oh, well, I can, shock them on their turn, then exile something, then cast that too. That's a cool theory, but let's get real.
Oh, God, yeah. If you get a land, then
if you
lose it.
you just lose the land forever. Or more importantly, let's say that shock was the last of your mana. You just top deck your fireball that you can no longer cast.
Yeah.
Also, 2, it says you may play that card this turn. The timing rule still applies. Any sorcery you get off of this that's during someone else's turn, you lost it.
It would have been cool if they said on it, and you may play that at any time you could play an instant, but that'd be too overpowered.
No, it would make friggin' sense.
No. In red, that's a weird...
But here's the thing, here's my problem, is the fact of, she's triggering off of instants, sorceries, herself. She's triggering off of literally everything the red wants to do.
Yeah.
She's a blue mage pretending to be a red player.
I mean, look at all the blue in her artwork.
That's what I'm saying. She's that's how that's working out. Next up is the actual green one, which is going to be Questing Beast. It's 2 green for a beast. It's 4/4. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste.
Wow.
Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less.
Why?
Combat damage that will be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. And whenever a Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target Planeswalker that player controls.
Why the Planeswalker hate?
So, the Planeswalker hate is strictly for standard. This is 100% is for standard. It has nothing to do with EDH. So let's go from the bottom up, basically. So yeah, we mentioned the Planeswalker thing. It's useless in EDH, unless you're merging Super Friends deck or something in that sense. Combat damage that will be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented, which means their fog
Means nothing.
means nothing.
Your god, your Iros, nothing.
Vigilance means the fact that it can block too. Death Touch means that it'll kill everything. I like it. This guy's dope. What you really do?
Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig, costs 3 green. Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig, enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, a +1/+1 counter on Yorvo. Then, if that creature's power is greater than Yorvo's power, put another +1/+1 counter on Yorvo. Yorvo sounds like a little selfish.
True. He also sounds like a person that has a weird evolve mechanic.
Enters the battlefield, it gets a +1/+1 counter no matter what, and then...
If a creature is bigger, it gets another one.
Yeah.
I just realized you have to make a custom art of this where it's the Hulk.
It's just the...
It's the strongest
Oh my
one there
God.
is.
Yeah.
He's the strongest one there is.
You know what make him really good? This is going to sound weird. Blade of Selves. You get 3 creature ETBs on combat that all buff him.
Yes. Blade of Cells is a 2-mana artifact that equips for 4, and it basically gives the creature Myriad. Myriad basically states the fact of when you attack with that creature, you create a copy of it that's also attacking each opponent that you have. have. The thing is with Myriad is that the legend rule does still apply. So,
Yeah, you have multiple creatures of the same, multiple legends of the same name in play.
Exactly. So before blocks or anything, you have to resolve the legend principle, which means you have to only sacrifice them until you get one. Because there can only be one.
So what we're saying is when you go combat and you swing with him, you get 3 creatures that enter the battlefield.
That triggers him 3 times, which gives him 3 counters, which
or
is
2 triggers if you're playing a 4-man game.
Yeah.
And both of those will have to die, yes, but you just buffed Yorva by 2.
Yeah, which is kind of the only downside with this. It's kind of a decently sized downside. He's got nothing else.
Yeah,
There's no trample, there's no vigilance,
he's
there's
just a big
no
boy.
first strike, there's nothing.
What's funny is that Champion Lamb holds better because it has a similar effect and it prevents your opponents from blocking it.
The last green legend is Surferin the Henge Hammer for 2 green. Human Knight's 2/2. Whenever she attacks, another target attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn. Well, X is her power. So she seems like a Voltron.
I call it them and a partner. You give this guy a partner, like if you put Yorvo in the deck with this as the commander, it works better.
But do you have her as a commander or him as the commander?
Put both of these in a Rayhan deck. He lets you move counters around.
Yeah, that'll work. This way you can guarantee that she's always the strongest one. Then when he swings in or whatever, he'll get her power. This is cool too, but once again, it's the same exact principle. No other text. There's no trample. There's no vigilance. There's nothing else. She's literally staying next to a bloody bear. Like, you couldn't have given us anything. I don't know. I'm not crazy about this or the other one.
I like armored bears. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, our bears are really decent.
Last of our creatures, we have Grumgully the Generous. He costs 1, a red, and a green. Legendary Goblin Shaman. Each other non-human creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it.
One thing that's very interesting to note, each other non-human creature you control. That's very rare that we actually run into just a human tribal.
Not really. Human tribal in like mono white and stuff or Abzan is pretty popular.
Well, yeah, but you have to go out of your way to make human tribal specific.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing is this is like literally like as long as you're not running this one tribe, you're good.
Yeah, basically. And that's basically like that opens up to basically 90% of magic. I like the fact that he brings counters with him, which is kind of nice. I don't like the fact that it's only a once they ETB.
I would have liked it if it was each non-human, so he would enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it.
No, that wouldn't even matter because he'd be a 4/4. And you're not really attacking with him because he's your guy that's giving out counters. I don't think he's a commander worthy. I think he is... You put him in a deck with +1/+1 counters that actually care about that.
Red's not +1/+1 counter synergy. We're talking Abzan. We're talking black, green, and white.
I was thinking more as like Rhythm of the Wilds from that sense, where it's like you kind of put it in that style deck where it's
so
like...
you give them all haste, or if they already have haste, give them all 2 +1/+1 counters?
Yeah,
No.
not really impressed. There is also a very short cycle of legendary artifacts.
Embercleave. Costs 4 and 2 red, brother. Legendary artifact equipment. Flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When Embercleave enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Brother. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Equip 3. Embercleave, brother.
That was the worst Hulk Hogan ever. I don't care.
Come at me, brother.
So, this is Dees. Something that has flash is always good, just because you just hold on to that mana.
Whenever you want to. 2 mana. Just throw it in there. Attach it to something. Give it double strike. This is literally just a game winner in a Voltron deck.
They've made all their blocks. Cool. After blocks before damage, flashes into something that's unblockable. Double strike. It's Dees. I like it. The next one we're actually not going to talk about is the Cauldron of Eternities. We made a episode last week where Eric actually put it onto his list.
You already heard how I think about it. Let's move on.
We've already mentioned how we thought about it. Glance back and watch that actual episode. Link will be in the doobly-doo down below. One that I actually do care about that we're going to talk about is the Circle of Loyalty. It's 4 white for a legendary artifact. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each knight you control. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever you cast a legendary spell, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance, and then pay 3 and a white, tap it to create a 2/2 white creature knight token with vigilance.
Knight Tribal.
Yeah.
It's going to go to my net deck, definitely.
Yeah. I like the fact that it's just legendary spell.
Yeah.
Typically, you're not going to get that trigger very reliably, the legendary spell, but the upside is the fact that you can create a knight every single turn.
The Great Henge costs 7 and 2 green. It's a legendary artifact and says this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. It taps for 2 green and you gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. So it's a better version of any creature enters the battlefield, draw a card. Because it also gives them +1/+1 +1/+1 counter. And it also taps for mana and gives you life. What is this?
Yeah, this card's broken.
Not broken, just good.
No, broken. Last week we mentioned the actual green land that you pay 4 mana. You add 6 to your mana pool. You can only cast creatures. So basically, turn 3, you're playing that with the Soul Ring, whatever. You're casting the Hydra, and then the next turn you're casting this for 2 green because the Hydra's a 6/6. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 green. Ooh. It's an artifact, so you can tap it immediately. Tap this for 2 green, you're getting back your worth. And it's just, whenever a Hydra shows up, it gets an additional +1/+1 counter, and you're drawing a card. This also stacks. So if you have Zendikar Resurgence, you're now drawing 2 cards.
Yeah, if you have Zendikar Resurgence and Elemental Bond, and this, you're drawing 3 cards. Holy moly, cards!
The fact that this gives you 2 green and 2 life just seems very unnecessary.
It's just a lot.
It just seems super unnecessary. It's like, okay, cool, here's some mana. Oh man, thanks, bro. You start to walk out, it's like, oh, where you going?
Wait, yeah, you forgot your free life.
You forgot your life. Like, sorry, you forgot your change. I play with a credit card. You forgot your change.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's super weird. Even if you hard cast this at like just 7 green,
You'd never hard cast this.
I mean, you never ever hard.
I'm gonna play Mono Green Spellslinger. Yeah, right.
Plus, it costs X less. So it's not a blatant, like, you know, like with Avatar.
If this was in your command zone, it could cost.
Yeah, right.
You could pay commander tax.
So, Avatar of Woe, for instance, specifically says you need 10 creatures in all graveyards in order to make her cost 6 less. This just, you can have a Land War Elves on the field, and now it costs 1 less. This is gross. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, these artifacts are stupid.
Speaking of stupid, we left the stupidest one for last.
Oh god, I don't even want to talk about this. I'm leaving. Have a nice night, y'all.
So we're talking about the Magic Mirror. It's 6 blue for a legendary artifact. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. It also states that you have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror.
Knowledge?
Then draw a card for each knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror.
Oh.
Fun fact, this will deck you if you're not careful.
It will deck you.
It's one of those things where it gets to the point where you're drawing like 10 cards in a turn. Why?
I mean, technically this will take a while to deck you.
It'll take a while to deck you, but it's also one of those things where it's the sheer, unadulterated card value.
Yeah, this is stupid and powerful, and they're going to be worth money.
People are going to say, oh, don't worry, it doesn't have any counters on it. Or, oh, don't worry, it only has like 1 or 2 counters on it. Who cares? As soon as this drops, remove it.
Oh, yes.
Even them drawing 1 additional card is 1 more that you're not getting. And then they're drawing 2 additional cards that you're not getting. But I would still just take it apart. Just kill it as soon as you see it. Speaking of killing stuff, let's go to our favorite stuff, which is going to be Last Call.
What does Last Call have to be about killing things?
Did I tell you already? This is your last episode.
Oh, I finally die.
All right.
Last Call.
I'm using that. Final thoughts. Just tell us kind of like what your theories are. We mentioned a bunch of legends that we said are probably not the greatest to run as commanders.
Prove us wrong.
Legitimately.
Tell us in the comments, why are we stupid?
We obviously kind of just give our own opinions and everything in that sense, but some of these do not seem like they would be worthy of actual commander running a deck. But hey, we've been wrong before. People have made a lot of janky stuff beforehand. But anyway, thank you guys for actually watching everything in that sense. Thank you, our beautiful, beautiful subscribers, which are scrolling up on screen right now, as well as make sure to hit that like button, share, follow.
Follow us on
fun
Twitter
stuff.
at PlaneswalkersP1.
Take it easy, guys.